We've got Adrian with us, and Paula and Sharon, my sister. My sister Sharon's got nearly 3 years up. And just introduce yourselves.
My name's Adrian. I'm an alcoholic. 3 years sober. Member of Centre for Serenity Thursday.
Thank you, Adrian.
And my name's Paula. I'm an alcoholic. Sobriety date the 28th of July 2018. My home group is Headley Beach 12 Promises and Sunday Night Exeter.
Thank you, Paula.
Hi, my name's Sharon. I'm an alcoholic. I've got nearly 3 years up in sobriety, and my home group is Port Adelaide.
Thank you, Sharon. Adrian will read out the how it works, preliminary little bit of chapter as we do in a normal meeting of AA. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, Mick. Okay, portion of chapter 5, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail and do a thoroughly find out. So this is your recovery. People who cannot pull the completely give themselves to be stupid program. You no matter what, who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. The chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders. But many of them do recover, if they have the capacity to be honest. Our story discloses in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you've decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. And some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result is nil until we let go, absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, battling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Our failures avail us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery.
One, willpowerless over alcohol that our life had become unmanageable. Two, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Three, made a decision to turn our will and our lives under the care of God as understood. Could you say the rest of them, please?
It's a shared. 4, made a certain and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, moved God to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to the law. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and where we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us, and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, what an order, I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. C, that God could and would if he was sought.
Well, thank you, Adrian. That was well done. As I said before, I'm mentally an alcoholic. So in the name of the grace of God and meetings such as this small one here tonight, and hello out there to our listeners, and we hope that you get something out of this the way that we are here tonight. But there were 4 alcoholics in my immediate family. 2 of us are sitting here tonight. My father was 12 months sober when he died of booze-related cancer. He was 51, and my brother, a 22-year-old brother, had a bad booze accident that killed him when he was 22. Our mother was, our mother was a very devout Catholic. She had a true practical spirituality. She lived totally for the family, and She liked a small sherry once in a blue moon, and she liked to have a straight cigarette now and again, and that was her only vices. Um, I had polio or infantile paralysis as a baby. I spent 9 months intern in the children's hospital. Mercifully, I don't remember the treatment. The treatment was a bit severe, um, I can remember when I was about 5, and I was in the children's hospital waiting for the kangaroo ambulance to take me home from treatment, and they forgot me, and the lights went out, and I started crying like a baby, and I never felt so desolate in all my life, and I thought to myself, well, how am I ever going to make it in life? And that about summed up the way I felt until I joined Alcoholics Anonymous. I had 15 years of blackout drinking from about the age of 8 or 9. I became unemployable in the finish. I lost every job that I had as a direct result of my drinking and alcoholism, even if it was only due to embarrassment. It forced me to move on. I was in a few places as a result of my drinking, and I was a middle-class deadbeat in the finish. Somehow or other, I got a very good job towards the end of my drinking. How I managed that, I just don't know, because I'd run out of excuses with why I was in and out of labouring jobs. I spent 9 years in a college. Up until the second year of schooling, I did very well. But when the booze took over, I never passed the next 3 years. They just put me up or made me repeat. But all I could get was labouring work. Anyway, I came around in September. Oh, hold on. In 1968, I put myself into a place, as I know today, because of my alcoholism and my drinking. I knew that my drinking was a problem to me, and I knew that my life was spiraling out of control a bit, and I wanted to be successful like the other lads. They were going to be doctors and lawyers and social workers and priests and all this. I wanted to be amongst them. But anyway, this Catholic Church priest, Father Malachi Kirk, an Irish Catholic priest from Dublin in Ireland, convinced me to the 12 steps of AA. And I had no understanding of alcoholism or AA, and I didn't want anything to do with it. But I said to myself, well, I am desperate. I will practice the 12 steps to the best of my ability in this week that you've given me. And he spent all day and all night on me with the 12 steps. And I come out of there in really good shape, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I lasted 10 months until I picked up a drink over a resentment, and I got drunk very quickly. And but I had a fatal flaw about that doing the 12 steps. I was doing the 12 steps, as I know today, in my case, to prove to myself that I could be disciplined enough to, at the end of the 12 months, to be a social, normal drinker. And of course, it wasn't to be, because I knew in my heart of hearts that there had been something wrong with my drinking all the way through. Now, the word alcoholic used to bother me, even when I come into AA. But I got out of another place, and having a good time, Sharon. Oh, that's all right. Thank you. Sorry about that. And I walked back into a meeting, and basically because I had nowhere else to go, in a way. And I certainly didn't have intentions to be almost 49 years sober when I walked into that meeting. It did occur to me as the meeting went on that if the power of that meeting had an effect on me, that maybe I could go 8 or 9 days without drinking and mellow the trouble that I was in at the time. And with that, a little bit more time went on in the meeting. And I thought to myself, something came over me, and I opened up. to the meeting, to the power of that meeting. I opened myself up to it, and I was still very shaky. I was only 2 or 3 days off the booze, and I said to myself, or something said to me within myself, you either grab this and make a decision for all your work here and now, or you may never do it again. And I simply did that. Warts and all, I just made a decision that I'd give AA and drinking go one day at a time. And the next day I woke up, I slept well, and I said to myself, well, what will I do with this day? I was a drinker that I would take something prescribed in the morning, something prescribed at smoking, something prescribed at lunchtime and drunk at lunchtime, and 2 hours later I'd be in withdrawal, drunk on the job every day, and then drunk after work in one of my favourite pubs. And now I'm getting a bit stuck. Hold on a minute. I'll be all right in a minute. I believe in the power of the spiritual. It's because I hated myself. I loathed myself. As Edward Arthur says, he ruined the day that he'd been born. I remember I applied for a job on the council as a truck driver, working in the drag shift in some manner. Must have been cleaning the gutters on one of those compactor type of machines or something. And he said, now why would a young bloke like you be wanting to do a job like this? And I said, because I hate people. And really I hated myself. But now that summed it up, but I'm only talking about myself, but I was very selfish orientated. I was very immature. Some little thing upset me, I'd go straight to the bottle, straight to the pub. If I couldn't get to the pub in a hurry, I thought, well, I'll hang on and tolerate this for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours or whatever it is so I can get to the pub. And, but they say the repetition makes the master. And I have had a couple of periods away from my aim, maybe a year or two, a couple of years or something, due to significant illness. But my first 13 years of sobriety, I did 5 to 7 meetings a week in general, because I didn't trust myself and because I wanted to be better. But unfortunately, I didn't spend quite as much time on my message as what I should have. And I wasn't able to spend time on my professional studies that I had worked myself towards early in sobriety, which I abandoned. And when I did that, things weren't as good at home, so to speak. But when I got to be 5 months sober, I thought straight reality set in. I thought this AA mob has conned me. Things are tough, and reality is hard. I wanted to run back to the alcoholic ward of Hillcrest Hospital where I spent 10 weeks or something prior. And I was like that for the first 2 years of my sobriety. When I was 9 months sober, I stopped just thinking of, am I an alkie? What does the word alkie mean? Did I go too far? Did I not go far enough? I stopped that type of thing. And when I was 12 months sober, I felt a bit, I was still a bit very ratty. I'm only talking about myself, still very ratty. And I thought, well, I'm 12 months sober and I'm still feeling ratty. But the older members tell me that it'll get better. And they told me that so long as I searched for in AA what I searched for in booze, I would find it. And I can honestly say today that is something that has been achieved in my life. Now, when I walked into that meeting on the 29th of June 1974, a little bit of inspiration came into me. And through the power, collective power of that small meeting. It was only a small meeting as big as this one here tonight. And 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And I believe that high power can do all things in us, but he expects me to do what I can do for myself. He expects me to cooperate along the unique lines of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is uniquely geared for me as an alcoholic. Now, don't worry about that word alcoholic today because I just honestly look back at my experiences with alcohol, right from when I was a toddler, more or less, or cough syrup experiences and things like that when I was young. And I can see that I was powerless over alcohol even then. And when I had a major nervous breakdown when I was 7 years sober. When I got just before my 7th year of sobriety, I got very excited that I was going to be an old member in Italics. And my life just collapsed with a physical origin illness, and which affected me mentally. And I had to go on medication for it, and that hurt my ego a lot. But the serenity prayer comes in, it still does to some extent, because it's a permanent condition. But what was I saying? The serenity prayer comes into these things. It says we have to accept the things that we cannot change about ourselves. Physically, I've got grey hair, I've got hardly any teeth, I've got a bulging stomach, and I'm now over 10, and no longer I can't move mountains as much as I used to and things like that. But then it goes on to say, have the courage to change the things that I can. Most of the things that I can change are within myself. And to work on myself with that little just for the day card. The way I got sober and the way I got well originally was to live in the day as much as possible, and it was very hard for me to do. Very hard to train my mind along those lines. And I can remember I got a job driving trucks, delivery trucks, and prior to the storm and labour. But I used to see the truck drivers coming in with their deliveries, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if one day I could have that easy job that they've got? The best job in my book. It was impossible for me because of drinking, but when I got sober, I took up driving, and it was pretty nerve-wracking the first 9, 12, 18 months, but I got through it. But I enjoyed it, driving around and being my own boss in a way and things like that, and it suited my fear of people, fear of life, fear of myself. And I used to be out in the truck and I'd say, I'd think about the meeting from the night before, my just for the day card, what I had to do, and I think I'd have resentments. And I'd say to myself, that one was having a shot at me, and this one was having a shot at me. And I said, and so I'm going to drink over this unless I do something about it. And I'd say a little prayer with a serenity prayer and hand over the high power. And each morning, as John Doe, Father John Doe, Catholic Church priest, the first priest that Eddie assures me to join AA in America and one of the longest sober members, he used to say that nobody ever picked up a drink on any one given day who sincerely and honestly asked his high power in the morning not to pick up a drink for that day. As that after says, this program is not if buts or maybes, it's guaranteed to work. It's guaranteed to work if I work it. Now, I can see things in the future possibly that will be challenging to me, and as we all can see for ourselves, but that won't be a problem so long as we dig on what we're doing right here, right now, and not picking up the first drink associating with our fellowship. And trying to work the 12 steps in our lives and the 12 traditions to some extent too. Am I going to please?
Your nice English.
I don't know, thank you. But I believe in the power of prayer, like Eddie Mack says. I just make short little prayers during the day, and that's what the Catholic Church priest, Father Malachi Church, who I mentioned earlier, used to say to me, just say little prayers during the day to make contact. And I have this beautiful feeling within myself today. Well, it's not just a feeling; it's an attitude, it's an experience of fact that I can be at peace with myself, basically. Now, that's not to say that I mean, if next to me at the table here was suddenly hop up and stick a pin in my leg, I would get upset and angry and curse him and want to fight with him. But my serenity underneath that wouldn't be disturbed, because serenity is something that's not superficial. It's as I go along on my daily march of being sober, like today, I can restart my original sponsor desire. His photo, 20 minutes, thank you. His photo I've got up just behind me is my original sponsor. John R. makes mention of him when we went down to Mansfield Park, and the meeting was just starting up, I think, with John there, me and Des. And I now forgot what I was going to say, but Des, it doesn't matter. But yes, life is pretty good to move into life sober. Me and Dan from Henley Beach 12 Promises group went into the Cool Christian bookshop just for the sake of having a coffee and for a safe environment and just for something to do. And Dan, saw a beautiful coffee cup, and on there it had, "If God brings you to it, He will bring you through it." And I thought, beauty, I thought, I must remember that. Yeah, God brought me to AA and got me sober in spite of myself. And whatever challenges I have in sobriety, He will bring me through them. Just to this day, no matter what happens, so long as I don't pick up a drink, this too shall pass.